up on Jonjo Lyons reviews. Fake! You hear that, 29 needles? Toots! Then cuts his off with scissors. Oh no. To see the fully uncut version of this video, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons.
What's that like to live deliciously? Chaos reigns.
Please don't scream.
Nah, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's happening? My name is Jonjo Lyons, and today I'm here to present to you my review for Petite Mort 2, Nasty Tapes. Written and directed by all these wonderful people, Petite Mort 2 stars! All of these follow the owners of the infamous Maison de la Petite Mort during their daily work. After the shocking events in part 1, you'll never guess what the new owner, Monsieur Matteo Maxime, is up to. Torturing for money at its very worst. How's it going, you lot? Welcome to the extreme era once again. No fun, only violence. I've only just recovered from last week's video, so I thought for this one I'd pick a movie that was going to be exactly what I was expecting. Scene after scene of extreme violence with possibly the thinnest plot of any movie I've ever covered for the channel. I've been wanting to cover this one for a while and actually covered the original all the way back in 2023. I wasn't much of a fan, if I'm honest. The original was just German hostile, but not as good. Not good enough to like and not bad enough to hate. At the time, I called it aggressively mediocre, which is kind of a thing to say, if I'm honest. Part 2 makes the wise decision of flipping the perspective to the killers as a documentary crew follows them around for a week. This leads to less boring, unnecessary stuff like story and dials up the gore, which we love on the channel. There's a lot of really good gore effects in this one, so if you want to see them uncut, go to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons. For as little as $3 a month, you get the uncut videos, you get them early, and you get access to the Discord. Oh, and last thing, if there's a movie that you think fits the extreme era that I haven't covered on the channel yet, please put it in the comments below and I'll take a look. But anyway, I'm in the mood to get really bloody, so let's not waste any more time. Get ready to witness the most tragic ending in extreme horror movie history. Yes, even worse than a Serbian film. This is Petite Mort 2, Nasty Tapes. The movie begins with this fella giving his review on the club.
Hi, I'm Mike Mendez, and whenever I'm in Germany, I always visit Le Haus Le Petite Mort. They have the finest sluts at rock-bottom prices. It's the finest slaughterhouse in all of Germany. Thumbs up.
This is director Mike Mendez, who's done a bunch of horror movies that I haven't seen yet. He did do my favourite segment in Tales of Halloween though. Cut to the gory opening credits, which helpfully provides the characters' names for me. We then got our title card and more credits when the film cuts to Monique, Dominique and their friend in a gimp mask. They thank us for buying the DVD and say we're gonna join them for 1 week in their home. We'll see behind the scenes, before the scenes and see their uncensored shows. They also advise that at the end there will be some contact details that you can reach out to create your own show, which is nice.
Lehnen Sie sich zurück und genießen Sie die erotischsten und exzessivsten Folterungen in 80 Minuten gebündelt.
I'd usually make a joke here, but after last week's video, I'm taking a break from looking at even my own.
Ach so, Taschentücher nicht vergessen.
Oh, would you look at that? Dominique did it for me. Thanks, mate. We're then presented with a victim card. Each victim card contains the chapter title, victim gender, age, family status, and finally price. Cut to a couple of Porkchop's daughters. Actually, it's the sisters from the previous scene who unmask and Dominique approaches this lady. The woman whispers in Monique's ear, who then whispers in Dominique's ear, leading to the woman picking up a knife. She then walks over to this unlucky fella and tries to wake him up. Unable to, she cuts off the man's ear. Good lord, getting right into it here, aren't we, movie? Awesome! They all whisper to each other again when Dominique cuts off the guy's nose and places it down with the ears. Then whisper whisper, Table Boy loses his lips, the woman and the sisters off. The woman then starts sticking needles into the poor face, or what's left of it, and we cut to Dominique cleaning up when she's joined by Jade.
Hat Maman euch auch immer die Drecksarbeit machen lassen?
Was?
Na, ich frag ja nur. In meinen Augen ist das ja nichts weiter als ein überbezahlter Putzfrauenjob.
Jade gives her shit and leaves when Dominique complains to camera about her.
Ey, die will mich doch die ganze Zeit provozieren, oder?
Cut to another victim card and then to an American customer.
I just had the best time of my life.
Holy shit, is that Ryan Nicholson? Ryan Nicholson was a director and special effects artist who made some excellent films before passing away, 2 of which I actually covered for the channel. Famine and Gutterballs. Unfortunately, I can't cover any more of his movies because whoever owns the online rights is a piece of shit. That's why you can only see the Gutterballs review on Patreon. Sucks too, I love that video. R.I.P. Ryan, you seem like a really cool guy. He explains how he found out about the place and how much fun he had when we cut to that fun time as he electrocutes this man. The victim is then shocked under a fingernail and nearly gets it in the eye before getting his fingers chopped off so the man can make a necklace. He then explains how glad he is to have come here and how awesome it is they give him a cold beer afterwards.
Nothing better than German beer and a German that I can kill and...
Now with a wig on, the man beats this dude with a high heel shoe, then digs his eye out with it. Damn! Anyway, then we get this short but effective scene. Maybe the baby was the one holding the gun? Yeah? Ever think of that? The last guy was from Canada. Maybe the baby was from Texas. Cut to Monique and Dominique as the latter complains about having to do the work the manager from the last movie used to do. This fella pops in to listen and he doesn't seem to like the way that Dom is talking. He's the new manager and doesn't like the ladies reminiscing about the past. He also makes it clear they do what he says.
Wenn ich sage, sie will die reinen Kaktus in die dann
schiebe ich mir einen Kaktus in die...
He tells her to get on with planning, then buggers off and we cut to the next victim card. Cut to this fella barely conscious as we see Dominique talking to the twins. She describes what fella they're going to be getting for dinner and they leave her to find a suitable man. Cut to the sound of wet chopping and then Dominique cutting up guts. She then makes sushi rolls with it and we cut back to the twins eating their meal off the body of the dead man. For dessert, Dominique serves finger food made of actual fingers and the twins kiss. End of that scene. Cut to Jay jumping out of her car and getting a call.
Ist das Kamerateam schon da? Okay, super. Ich komm runter. Bis gleich.
Cut to the manager, or Monsieur Matteo Maxime, I'm just going to call him the manager, giving an interview about the club. He basically justifies the existence of the club, saying he's providing a service to fulfill humans' primal desires while Jade stands next to him looking... lovely. We then find out Jade is the manager's wife and she introduces herself. She used to be an employee but married the manager after he bought the place.
Sie ist meine Muse, sie ist mein Ein und Alles. Und wir beide, wir sind doch wirklich ein Glamour-Paar.
Toots! Cut to the victim card and then to 2 blokes, one of which is in a position that doesn't suggest amazing things for his future. Dominique then enters, producing a corkscrew which she shoves into the end of his cock and twists. A clearly rubber cock. Fake. You hear that, 29 needles? Dominique then grabs a knife and chops the other bloke's hand off. And just like that, his career as a drummer in the German band Mein Vater ist heimlich schwul was over. Cut to this guy, Dog Boy, as he injects something and repeats my morning mantra.
Pussy. Du ekelst mich an. Du ekelst mich an.
He tells the cameras to off and we cut to Monique in the shower as Dominique gets ready. Monique gets out of the shower and mentions their friend Benny, who's a drug addict or something. She then asks Dominique if she's ever wanted to off herself but gets another sarcastic reply. Dominique then leaves and we cut to them both being interviewed. They explain how they do live stream shows for customers far away and in-person shows for people who travel. The interviewer asks if they can watch their next live stream and the sisters agree but say they're gonna have to pay. They then chat about torture like it's an office job that's gotten boring, which is kind of fun writing. Like The Office, but if Dwight castrated Jim. The interview ends and we cut to the next victim card, then to a man reciting the Lord's Prayer. The women enter, their customer logs on, and holy Christ, would you look who it is!
Hallo!
That's Uwe Boll, director of House of the Dead, which I actually covered for the channel not that long ago. I really love that movie, and I'm not sorry! The victim has already had his eyes stitched shut, so they do the same to his mouth to shut him the up. They then ask what's next, and Uwe instructs them to hold his nose so he suffocates. After a little jump scare, the man finally dies and the women leave. Cut to the manager upset, looking at his own body as he cries to Jade that something is missing. He then runs off and alone says he wants to be as beautiful as Jade. He has another cry, then puts this mask on and we cut to another victim card. Cut to this lady lying down as Monique, Dominique and Richie Rich enter. In an interview, he says he does it because he can afford it and has experienced everything else the world has to offer. He then picks Sleepy and buggers off to get ready as the sisters grab the girl.
Und sucht der Mensch nicht immer nach neuen Herausforderungen? Das hier sehe ich als so eine.
Hey, Richie, you want my opinion? You're not taking enough drugs. Take more drugs. Cut to the woman in the cage when Richie asks if she knows why he picked her. He says he wants to give her a treat, which is apparently saving her from every embarrassing moment in life she won't be able to provide for her family. Richie then stabs her in the tum-tum and pulls her guts out. The woman pisses herself, so Richie rubs her face in it like a real jerk.
Und was sind schon 20.000 Euro? Für mich? Nichts.
Cut to Monique, because I guess we're done with the cage woman? Lame. As she finishes doing her nails. Jade comes in getting leery about Richie only paying $18,000, but Monique says the manager gives him a discount. Monique tries to get lippy, but Jade corrects her real fast, saying if the price was right, Monique would become a victim and she'd prepare the show herself. Jade then leaves and Monique shouts at the documentary crew.
Grins nicht so, das war nicht witzig, du Vollidiot!
Cut to our next victim card and then to the victim on a table as the sexy nurses draw on her. Also, that's what they're called in the credits, alright? Don't start.
So. Fertig. Und jetzt? Lass uns mal anfangen.
All done, they're about to start when one of them fixes their lipstick, then puts the mask back on, which really annoyed me. They then read the instructions of what they need and start to cut into the girl, skinning her. I bet if you put that in the oven, it'd crisp up real nice, like crackling. Cut to some time later as we see flesh hanging and get a shot of the skinned woman and her ham sandwich. The sexy nurses celebrate a job well done when Monique walks in and takes payment. We see the skinned girl is still breathing, then cut to Dominique and Monique discussing what they're gonna wear for the next client. The manager then comes in and says the victim is to be electrocuted. Again? Don't start running out of ideas on me now, movie. Cut to another victim card and then to the ladies electrocuting this fella to dance music. And that's it. Hands down the worst part in the movie for me. This is dancing for shy ladies. If you got it, girl, shake your titties. What a choice. Moving on. After that abysmal song, the sisters blow a kiss goodbye and we cut to Monique telling Dogboy to take a seat. She then takes out a bunch of organs and gets to chopping, apparently making her pet a meal. He then eats and she leaves him to it as the manager is interviewed once again. He explains another service they provide, sending customers recordings of their live shows. This service costs significantly more than in-house as they get to keep something that lasts forever. Cut to Dominique entering the victim's quarters and looking for someone who fits the order. She then tells the fellas the bad news and we cut to their victim card. Looks like it's gonna be a threesome. Someone's greedy. Here Dominique welcomes us to torture roulette and spins the wheel, landing on 39 red, which happens to be cutting off the tongue. Next is round 2, where we hit 16 red, which is cutting off the nipple. And finally, round 3 gives us 29 black. And that turns out to be removing fingernails. Which I knew was coming the second I saw those pliers. God, I hate that. Dominique then says goodbye, and we cut to the sisters getting this woman ready for her big close-up. Monique says to take her gag out to see what the woman has to say. Oh, so vulgar! Comment below if you get that reference. They stick a wig on the woman, and Monique says she looks gorgeous when the ladies leave. Cut to the girl's victim card, and then to this lady, Eva, making sure she's looking good. Oh no. Cut to the sisters bringing the victim in as we see some pretty poorly done censoring going on here. I think she's got a certain symbol on her uniform, and this being a German film, I guess they weren't allowed to show it. I looked up to see if it's illegal in a German production to show such a thing, and apparently it's not. It just depends on the context. Perhaps a film of this nature was deemed not the right context to show it. If it was me, I probably would have gone with the blur effect, but hey ho. If anyone does know the answer to this, especially if it's the director, hi, thanks for watching, please comment below and let me know. I swear they were able to show it in The Death King, and that's a German film. I don't know. Anyway. On instruction, they chuck the poor girl into this chamber as Eva asks how she's liking the history lesson. The victim begs to be let out, then starts to cough before eventually succumbing to the gas. All done, they show Eva out and we cut to the last day. Here we join the manager as he does his makeup and the sisters watch on. He then shaves his chest, sparks a cigarette and asks if the camera is running.
Ich brauche meine Brüste. Ich will meine Brüste jetzt. Bringt sie mir. Bringt mir meine Brüste.
Dominique pops off to get the manager his tits and returns with them on a silver plate. He gives them a lick, then picks them up and sews them to his chest.
Was sagt ihr? Was sagt ihr? Wie findet ihr mich nun? Jetzt ist es perfekt. Jetzt ist es perfekt. Ich bin perfekt. Ich bin wie ihr. In 6 Minuten, ich bin wie ihr.
Which is one way to do it. Also, these are Jade's tits, which I totally understand. I was starting to wonder where she was. R.I.P. my sweet baby angel. He says he's the new mama and he's prettier than the sisters. Then cuts his off with scissors. And following that, the film comes to an end. Oh, sorry, we do get one more scene where the sisters say they hope we enjoyed it, invite us to join the family, kiss and then say goodbye. Then we get the end.
Wir würden uns freuen, Sie bald wieder begrüßen zu dürfen. Im Maison de la Petite Mort.
The end! Well, what a nasty little film! F me, is it better than the original? La Petite Mort 2 is a simple film that wastes no time giving us exactly what we want. Gore and titillation. There is a surprising lack of nudity, but Jade's barely contained jumbo yum-yums makes up for that. This might be the simplest story to date on the channel, with us following a week in the life of the La Petite Mort. The closest thing we get to an actual story here is the manager seemingly struggling with his gender, and that's all resolved in a way that I'm sure will piss someone off somewhere, so I'm just gonna skip over it. Other than that, it's just death scene after death scene, and I'm absolutely fine with that. Cut to the characters and everyone does fine here. The manager is 100% the standout, and I also enjoyed Jade. What's more interesting here is Dominique, who seems to have had a bit of a personality transplant between films. In part 1, she was the typical nutty killer character we've seen a bunch of times before, but now she's more chilled, just getting on with her job. But yeah, no one is upsettingly awful, so well done there. Oh, and one more shout out to Ryan Nicholson. He absolutely smashes it in a small role. Next is the gore, and of course we get some great stuff here, but we also get some kind of underwhelming stuff, surprisingly. The torture roulette section section springs to mind the most. I did like the skinning and the opening kill though. Also the gassing was pretty pointless, but I guess that was more for shock value given the context. Then the movie is capped with a giant rubber cock getting cut off, and that was brutal. Although this element of the film was more uneven than I was expecting, there's so much of it that I still left happy. Production wise, the film looks cheaper than the last one, but that's mostly due to the documentary style they're going for. All the other technical elements match the style in quality, so no complaints here. I will say though, that song they chose for the music video part was horrible. I hated that scene with every fibre of my being. In the end, La Petite Mort 2 Nasty Tapes is for me a vast improvement on its predecessor. Its switch in perspective and style elevates the film far beyond just another Hostel ripoff, and the minimal story makes more room for the ultra violence we all crave. It could have had more of a plot, and it would have been nice to see some actual nudity, but other than that, it's a blast. Watch with your nan, then do to her what you should have done a long time ago. So that was my review for La Petite Mort 2 Nasty Tapes. What do you lot think? I really enjoyed it, and I don't know if that's just because of the movie that I covered last week having hardly any gore. It just seemed weirdly fresh to me, which is interesting because of the lack of plot. I could see a lot of people watching this and thinking it's dog shit because of the lack of story, but I liked it. Why Jade's severed tits are completely spherical though, I'll never understand. Speaking of which, if you want to see one man use a high heel shoe to gouge out another man's eye completely uncut and early, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons. There you can find the uncut version of this review plus others with more stuff being added every single week. We got the uncut reviews, Patreon exclusive reviews, slasher comic breakdowns, and the Discord. And all that can be yours for as little as $3 a month. You can pledge more, I really appreciate it, as I need that extra money to send my short film Better Anything to film festivals all over the world. You know the drill, it costs money to submit, and I want to get it to as many film festivals as I can, so, you know, anything that you can provide to help that would be massively appreciated. So that's it for another week. Like the video, leave a comment, and click subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Jonjo Lyons, and I've got a pitch for La Petite Mort 3, Jade's Revenge. Basically, it's just her going on a quest to get her tits back. And at the end, she has this epic fight with the manager and tears her tits off, and music plays. And when she touches the severed tits to her chest, they, like, magically go back on. I'd watch her.